Welcome people to the World Wide Web. So it's another movie review for this weekend, and we have the movie No Hard Feelings. So people, if you've not seen this movie or the trailer or don't know anything this is about Jennifer Lawrence's character. She unfortunately is down on her luck. She is staying in her mum's house. Her mum is no longer with us or in that fictional world, and she hasn't paid her taxes. Her car gets impounded because she hasn't paid her taxes, and her job is as an Uber driver for the summer, and this is the start of the summer period, and she's basically in a bind, so to speak. Her friends help her try and look to see how she can earn other money, and they finds out this rich couple that live in the area have a kid, and they want to hire her to basically bring him out of his shell, so to speak, date him, before he goes to college or college at Princeton. Then, because he's a very introvert type of person, she's a very extrovert. Obviously, stories them two kind of getting to know each other and getting on. Obviously, and then obviously it all comes out at the end, like you normally do. There is nothing after the credits, and and I thought it was an alright film. I'll give it that much. We will bang up the spoiler review so we can get into this. So this film is classed as a comedy. Now, for me, I went into the pictures. There's about 20-30 people in there. There was some people laughing at some jokes. Most of the laughs were at jokes that weren't in the trailer, which was good, but there wasn't many. I think it was about an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes this film was. To class it as a comedy, there wasn't many laughs to me. Now, that's not like downgrading on the film. So, as I say, obviously, unfortunately, Jennifer Lawrence's character is down on luck, and then obviously meets this young lad. He's not to know that she has been paid by her parents. He has a lot of insecurity issues, and she has a lot of issues as well. And basically, it's kind of a buddy story of them two getting to know each other in a kind of relationship way, but then coming out of themselves and having like a proper friend, and realizing that the issues that they have, they can move past them and evolve as people. Which I think was a good one. I did like that side of it, and that side of it worked well. I mean, for me, Jennifer Lawrence's acting in this is really, really good. I say there was some funny bits. There was some funny bits not shown in the trailer, which I liked, but to me, it didn't feel like there was enough. It felt like it was more a light romance coming, kind of a finding yourself story with a sprinkle of laughs in, and this is and I mean, I don't know what again, like the parents, they had a joke or two near the end, and it was really good. And there were little bits like that, and then there was the big jokes that they put in the trailer that to me didn't land, and I don't know what the thinking was behind it. I mean, it may be the fact that it was down to 90 minutes of trying to fit all these other elements in, and they just worked with what they got. The test audience might have thought this is really funny, and maybe a certain audience did. I know myself and the other audience, we kind of found the same sort of things. Now, it could be the fact that because they're more aimed at Jennifer Lawrence's character than this young lad. And I did like the interpretation of this story. So this story is obviously she is 32 and he is 19, and she ends up going to like the party that you see in clips, and it's whose mum is that? And there were a lot of questions like that, and the kids are always on their phone and how they take everything serious. And there was a real world depiction of kind of what life is a little bit like. You say something, it's a joke, everybody's got their cameras out and stuff, and it is very much the real world. And I like that. I say the core story of this, of them finding each other and having the issues, worked really well. Obviously, I think Jennifer Lawrence was far better than the young lad, but the young lad I think is quite new to the story, like the how it's set in real life. I kind of felt maybe the parents, that certain characters weren't used as much as they should have done. Some characters weren't the greatest, surrounding characters that is. But as by the by, I say maybe if you stuck on another half an hour, flesh the story out a little bit more. You could have thrown some proper stupid jokes in there. I think it would have hit a lot better. It's not to say it's a rubbish film. I did like it. I will probably definitely own it because I would want to watch it again. You get to see a lot more of Jennifer Lawrence than you expect in one scene, and I'm not going to say anything of that because I don't want to spoil the surprise for a few people. But even that scene, it was a little bit funny. It was a little bit not. And this is where I feel like it was missing its beat sometimes. And it's, as like obviously you can get where the story's going to go. There are a few twists and turns, and obviously they do kind of come to the realization and are better as people, and they kind of drive off into the sunset, literally and figuratively. But yeah, I say the idea was really good. I say the two main, Jennifer Lawrence and the young lad, bad as the parents, I just feel people weren't utilised as right. The jokes weren't always hitting when they should do and stuff like that. And I think it was just an off in places. Yeah, and it could have been like, it was good. I'm happy to watch it again, but it could have been so much better if they'd done, if they'd concentrated on a few more laughs and say the characters and stuff. I think just it's strange because the parents, they're kind of, you see them as very kind of the parenting overbearing roles, and then near the end they crack one or two little jokes and they were found quite funny, and I was like, if you kind of exploited that a little bit more, you could have got away with it. I mean, the fact of how the young lad acts when he realises that everything's been twisted, he acts really, really strange, and there was a few bits and him trying to trash a car and that, and it was supposed to obviously be funny and stuff, and it just didn't come across. I just didn't gel with it. Maybe I didn't gel with him as much as Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence by far is the standout in this. I've grown more to like her, and I've got quite a few films in her, apart from the Hunger Games and the X-Men and stuff. I've not really seen her in too much, so this is kind of, and Passengers, this is kind of spurring me on to see a bit more of she, because she does have a lot of depth and she does have a lot of range, and I think this is her not taking herself too seriously, and the ideas and how they reflect modern worlds and stuff like this, and the kids and the phones. I thought all these elements worked really well. It just felt like it was the light or the diet version of what it could have been, and if they'd maybe spent a bit more time and built me up. But that's the for me, it's a 6 out of 10. It's definitely worth watching. It's better than average, but it's still, it was just her friends, I feel like, didn't have no connection or no emotion. And she has like some people she's kind of dated, and I said that there's like there's a mechanic-y type person which you don't get to see, which I didn't really gel with him. There's an ex that comes across and he's a bit strange, and even the young kid doesn't really have friends. He has one at the pet place where he works and stuff, and that again didn't work that well. I said it to me, I would have had a better cast and a better surround, apart from the parents, and I think them and a little bit more develop on those would have made this a far better film. But it is good. It is good for what it is. So yeah, that was my review of No Hard Feelings. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have you seen this? Let me know what were your thoughts down in the comments below. Otherwise, I shall definitely see you next one.